I just found out the Heikin-Ashi chart can help you a lot to make a lot of money with your trades or investments, and look at where the direction of the market is, and you guys can get out of market on time and get into the market on time without being late and without regretting. So make sure to subscribe and pay attention to everything I'm saying in here. We're gonna practice together and you're gonna master this with me in here, because this is a very good tool that you can almost use it in any time frame in the chart, and you can compare and see how it looks with the different charting, and you will decide on your trades. And none of these are financial advice, this is just for education. Let me first go to weekly and see how we were having some signals, and I just found out about this chart. I mean, it has been around for a while, but I never use it honestly. But if we go all the way to the bottom that we had $15,000 in here, 15,500-ish. If you guys pay attention here, we had shadows for these candles, all of them. From some of them from top, some of them from both sides, or some of them from below. Okay, but when you see a candle going up and there's no shadow on the bottom and it's a green one, you guys want to, whenever you want to look at the bullishness, you want to pay attention to a green candle without any shadow on bottom. So you guys see this one had a shadow, but this one didn't. So if you got into a trade, the next one didn't have it, so you could have kept on your long, and the next one you could have kept on your long, and you still could keep your trade open for 4 weeks, almost a month. And then once you got to this candle and you see the shadow from under it, although we were just going sideways, you could have just got out of the market. Not out of the market, out of your trade. So if you long Bitcoin around this area from 16,800 to almost 700, actually, after you need to look at the candle close first, and the next one when it opens, if you still do not see any shadow from the bottom, you can get into the trade almost $18,000, and you could have held your trade for 3 weeks until you saw this candle. And once you guys saw that, you could have got out of the market and you could have had almost 3,000 gains. Okay, and then once you will see the next candle that shows you the bearishness, okay, the bearishness would be this one. If you want to get into a short, you need to make sure this one closes and the next one does not have a candle from top. But you guys saw if this already actually opened it and it was green, so you do not want to short this. That's what you do not get, that confirmation of okay, let me just short the market from here. Okay, so the next one in here, this candle, you guys see that there is nothing from under and it's a green one, so it shows that you can get into another long. Okay, so if you bought it around 23,600-ish, you could have held it all the way for 4 weeks until you saw this candle and you could have got out of your market. And so from this price, actually this price, 25,000 to 27,000, that would be $2,000. And when you're actually using futures and leverage, you guys can get a lot of gains, although it is only $2,000 difference. But this, and also this is weekly, but if you want to go to the 1 hour chart, you guys can do this all the time by looking at the charts. And honestly, I like 4 hour chart more, and you guys can clearly see I would short from here because we already have this red candle and this next one has opened it as red. Okay, so even if you got into a short around this area, when this candle started it right around the 60,600-ish, you could have got in. But if you saw a shadow up, you should have just closed it, so you would have just broke even. Okay, you guys see this one closed as red without any shadow on top, so that shows the aggression of the selling pressure. And the next one started it and there's still no shadow on top, and then you could have just got into a short, and even if once you saw another shadow on top, even if it's red, you could have just got out to make sure you are having some candle that there's no, for the shorts you should see a red candle with no shadow on top, so reminding you. For the green ones, green candle with no shadow below it, under it. Okay, so red, no shadow on top, green, no shadow on the bottom. So you could have already short Bitcoin from here, and then you could still hold it until you see the next 4-hour chart that opens. And if it shows that it is having a shadow on top, you guys can get out of your trade. So it is a very good tool that you guys, by looking at this, you can either break even if you see that the confirmation is just failing, or you can just hold it and make sure that you're just making some money. So right now, I would even short it from here, 60,600 ish, and if you still hold it, that will be $400 down. Okay, as long as I do not see any shadow, another shadow on top of the candle. Doesn't matter if it's green or red. Green is going to be more bullish, but red, even with a shadow on top, I would just still get out. Okay, so this is a really good tool, and you can still use other charts with a normal regular charting. You don't have to use, but you can still look at the confirmation from Heikenhashi to get into trade. So we can still, if I want to talk about the technical analysis. So if you guys have been following me, I put a screenshot for Bitcoin, and I said that around this area, $63,000 area, is going to be a huge resistance up to almost $65,000. So this area is rejecting so far the Bitcoin, and we can still go back down and retouch $49,000-$50,000 one more time, and then we need to see how bearish and how bullish it looks. Okay, so far this is just mostly this video is gonna be about the Heikenhashi chart, how it can help you. And even if you go to monthly chart, it will show you how you could have got into trades. And let me show you here. For example, when you saw this candle, you can see there's no shadow on top. It is a red, so I would get into short once this new one opens without anything, okay, when you have any shadow on top. So but once you see these, you could have just got out, so you wouldn't even lose that much. Trading is very difficult, so it's really hard for you to understand most of the time where the market is going. But by looking at this, you can get some ideas of how bearish and how bullish the chart looks. So once we saw another candle there's no shadow on top, and this one confirms it, you could have got into a short position from $38,000 down to no shadow on top, no shadow on top, no shadow on top, no shadow on top, up down to at least $21,000 until you saw this candle, the shadow on top of this candle, right? So that shows clearly that how much money you could have made by shorting a market from that $38,000 down to this level. Although we saw another one right like this. So when you get to this level, the trade gets canceled. So you just gotta get out. Although this one shows no shadow on top, you need to still restart your confirmation. So you need to wait for the next one to see if there is no shadow. So that's why you do not short the market, although you see this no shadow on top of this candle, right? This red, the last red candle before starting these green ones. So it's the same deal. This one, although it opened as a green, but there is shadow on bottom of it, right? So this is the opposite of red. You can see that there is a, oh my god, it's hard to point. So this one, you guys see that? Let me actually make a circle here, that would be easier. Okay. So you guys see that on here inside the circle there's a shadow, and then the next one there is no shadow. So that's why you still don't get in. You wait for this close candle and open this one. So you could have just got into long, and the next one you could have held it, you could have held it, you could have held it, and you could have held it up to here. So we're talking about 32,500 ish up to $56,000. Okay, so we're talking about at least $20,000, $24,000 gain until you saw this next one with another shadow and the shadow and the shadow and the shadow. So now it's still, I would not even short it or along it either, because none of these are either bearish, that bearish, so we're just going sideways. But if you want to go one time frame lower to weekly, This is showing a short-term 4-weekly chart as bearishness, but I wouldn't still short Bitcoin because you guys see that this is a new candle with no shadow on top, and we need to wait for the next week's candle. And if we do not still see any candle with the shadow on top, we can get into short, and until the next candles are having the red without any shadow on top. So same as in here, what happened in here was, oops, same deal, no shadow, no shadow, no shadow, no shadow. So you could have just held your short from at least $66,000 down to here, okay, down to here until this candle closed with 58,000, almost $10,000 in short, right? I hope this can help you guys. This is just another tool for you guys to understand where the direction of the market is. And if you want to look at the daily, same deal. This is very nice. Look, the red candle, we do not still get into short, but this one confirms it. So from almost $67,000, held it, but in here we should have closed it because there is one small candle in here that shows you can still hold it and risk it because the shadow is not that much, but you just don't want to risk it that much either, right? So you do want your stop loss to be hit, but you could have still held it because the next one, it was going to be no shadow, no shadow, no shadow, no shadow. So you could have still held it from $67,000 down to almost $55,000. So another $12,000 in short. Same deal for the long. So this is what you guys can practice in the chart and see what happened before and how you can decide on yours. So still, you guys see that we are having no shadow. So you could get into long, but this one is having a little bit, it's very small. You can just look at it, your chart. You guys see a little bit of shadow down here, but we can still hold on to it. This can be temporarily, and the next one can be still bullish. So, but because you want to look at other charts, and I said that $62,000 to $62,000 to $65,000 is a very hard resistance. You can still get out of your trade if you were holding from here. But none of these are financial advice. These are not that what I'm saying that you should decide exactly just based on this. But history is showing you guys, the chart shows you how you could have performed and how you could have traded and made money with this type of candle. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends, especially your trader friends, and comment down below what you think about this, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.